Okay, welcome back everyone. Today we're going to be talking about a game versus Percival, you guessed it, and he's going to be up in the top right. I'm going to be in the bottom left here. Before I get into that in detail, I want to mention that I attended the Stormgate Content Creator Summit earlier today, and I was fortunate enough to have many of the upcoming events and plans for the game shared with me. I'd like to thank Frostgiant Studios for inviting me to this. It was a great time. Full transparency, before I keep going, I cannot go into detail about any of it until July 30th, as it is under NDA right now. I know you were all hoping for the details about what went on and what's planned, but I can't provide that at this time. I can, however, talk about my thoughts and impressions about what I saw. Several Frostgiant members spoke to us, and I thought, after attending, that the future of the game is bright. I got the impression that they've got a real deep passion for the player base, and they have nothing but our best interests in mind, based on what I saw. In addition to that, I came out of the meeting with a pretty good outlook on the upcoming early access in the game, and I look forward to being able to deliver lots of great Stormgate content coming up, and to be a part of that during early access and beyond. So please stick around this channel on July 30th, and there'll be many more great content coming up for you guys. Getting into this game, this is actually a custom build that I made. I workshopped this myself. I didn't get this from anyone. I didn't take this from some other player. I made this build completely on my own, and as far as I saw, I was the only one who tried it ever during the frigate build. You might notice a large variation compared to normal. In previous games, we've seen Percival and I both go for the mech bay right away, and we go for promoted hedgehogs. You're going to see my dog barely get out of here. That was pretty lucky on my end. He accidentally missed a shot. There I go. I dropped the little worried symbol, and he was laughing there. On my end, though, I'm going to be going for 2 barracks and a biokinetics lab following it up. And you're going to notice that's quite different. The Lancer here, you're going to think, isn't this just going to get kited and killed immediately? The answer is yes. But it's doing a job here. The job is, it's keeping Percival on his side of the map. If he doesn't deal with this with his army, it's going to cause problems. And it's going to destroy workers and all that. So he has to bring his only hedgehog, or his second one that he just made, home. There's no other option. You can see in my base here, I've got 6 on Therium, 2 barracks, and I'm just putting down my biokinetics lab. The 6 on Therium is for my command post and the first dog upgrade to get bonus damage versus light units. The command post upgrade to tier 2 costs 100, and the dog upgrade costs 50. So I'm going to need 150, so I'm going to put 6 workers on, and then once I attain that, I'm just going to pull them off one by one. You can see I'm already starting to pull some off because I'm pretty confident that I'm going to reach it by the time the research is done on the biokinetics lab, or the building time, I mean. You're going to notice 2 units coming up the map here. I made 2 more Lancers, and I snuck them around kind of the long way. Percival is out on the map. He's collecting camps like he should be. Remember, I always mention creep camps, very important. Get out on the map, get active, and he's going to spot that right away. I misclicked and sent these up into the top right, but based on where they went, it looks like they're all hidden. So that's probably really cool. He probably thought that was intentional. He has no idea I didn't mean to do that. But I'm going to promote the units because I have my tier 2 command post, and I'm just going to, again, be trying to keep him on this side of the map. If he attacks me right now, I'm probably in a bit of trouble. You can see here I'm trying to hide the dogs, and I successfully, doesn't look like it, but I just barely managed to hide them. I think Percival knows exactly what's going on. 2 barracks and a biokinetics lab is pretty hard to mistake as to what unit comp I'm going for. So I'm going to start moving out pretty much immediately with the dogs that I do have, and Percival, again, going to be taking more camps, getting more resources, getting that map vision, and all that good stuff. Dogs only require 1 promote ability, which is 5 energy, to be promoted all the way to tier 3, where they'll be having bonus HP and damage. So I'm going to promote all of them and send them up the right side of the map, similar to how I sent the Lancers. Percival on his side is going to be moving to the left side to collect this Watcher camp. And around this time, my biokinetics lab should be finishing the research. So my dogs now do bonus damage versus light units. I'm going to be coming in here, and my attack will commence, but immediately he pops the Bob overcharge, so I'm going to kill a supply depot, and as the rest of his army comes up, I'm just going to back off. Realistically, you cannot fight ever when someone has a Bob overcharge on. And that's a rule no matter what unit comp you have. Even tier 3 Vulcans can struggle to deal with Bobs with overcharge. Remember, that gives them 100 defense and doubles their damage and doubles their build time as well. So it's not advisable to ever try and take a fight when someone uses Bob overcharge. I got him to spend 25 energy. That's 25 energy he's not using on promote. And also, I managed to pick up a habitat, or supply depot, whatever you want to call it. The habitat is light. It is a structure, but it still has a light tag, meaning my scouts do bonus damage versus that as well. That's why you saw it get deleted so quickly there. On my side, I'm going to be following up with a mech bay. And I'm going to be going into hedgehogs of my own. Percival's going to be building his second mech bay and going into Vulcans. On my side, I'm trying to get some more creep camps. You see I took the speed camp here. This build is very dependent on the speed camp, so it will not work. It probably won't work at all during early access, but it certainly didn't work at all on maps that didn't have a speed camp. Hedgehogs and dogs are even in their speed. They both have pretty much the exact same speed. And so the speed camp allows the dogs to get on top of the hedgehogs and not be kited as to where they would regularly be kited if it was different. You can see here, again, I back up right away. Why is that? That's because look at the choke point he's in. There was hardly any surface area there for me to get on top of all his units. If you're not confident in a fight, don't bother taking it. You can extend the game on, there will be more opportunities. So I instead go for the speed camp, and once my dogs get it, I see that he's overextended here. He should not be out on the map like this when I've got so many units. So I'm going to try and wrap around, and because I've got better surface area this time, a lot of my dogs are in and he's not as in position, I'm just going to go for it. You can see again, I focus down that habitat. That habitat is light, it dies really quickly. You can still see he's got a great choke point. He's going to move back into his bob line. I'm going to send some workers to, or some scouts, sorry, to try and kill the workers below and kill the Vulcan above. So I'm going to full surround that Vulcan, and I'm going to use hold position where the workers are standing and mining to get my dogs to attack them. Workers, when they are mining, don't typically have a high attack priority, meaning the dogs will just run around and not focus them at all. But if you use hold position, the dogs will automatically attack the nearest target to them while standing still. So if you park them on top of a mineral line, or in that case some therium, they'll start picking off some workers. So in that attack, I got a few workers, I've got some energy that I used, or that he had to use, I got a Vulcan, I got a few hedgehogs, and I got his habitat. It's not a bad trade overall for me. Percival's going to immediately go out on the map and try and get more creep camps, he's going to repair his units, and he's going to get that second mech bay going. On my side, I wanted to point out one mistake I did make previously. I built my biokinetics lab on the left side, even though my first solar habitat there, that you can see, was on the right side. Always build your important production buildings, like mech bay, hangar bay, machine shop, and biokinetics lab, things that research or things that have high amounts of time for the units, on the same side as your depots. That way you can get that 15% bonus. So I could have gotten my attack a little bit faster, but it's not a big deal. Now I've got it on the barracks and the mech bay, as I needed a second upgrade. Now, my follow-up to the dogs. You can't stick on dogs forever. Eventually it'll get outscaled. I'm going to be going for some hedgehogs of my own, and again I'm going to grab that speed camp. This was a huge overextension by Percival. He should not have been out on the map, especially not on my side like this, especially based on how far ahead I was. You can see, because I've got the speed camp, my dogs are just significantly faster, and I'm able to catch the vast majority of them in that fight. He's in full retreat now. He's pulling everything back. His second big mistake was he sent out a Vulcan, thinking that he was on the offensive here and he was going to be attacking my base. Even though my speed camp wore out, it's not a big deal. I got the damage I needed, and now my units are going to be fully attacking. Don't focus too much here on the workers or anything. Try and close out the game by attacking the army. So you can see I'm going to leave my dogs up in the top right to attack his hedgehogs because they're cornered. There's nowhere left to kite. I'm going to send my hedgehogs, which have burst damage, back to deal with the Vulcan. The hedgehog does 10 damage, and he has a volley of 4. And so if you have a bunch of them, that's a lot of damage that the hedgehogs can produce all at once, and they're great versus Vulcans. Overall, this was a pretty custom build that I made, and it worked a few times, including against Percival here, so I was happy to share it with y'all. Thanks for watching.